Make believe is not pretend. We might be ill, but we're on the mend. It never starts, it never ends. Welcome to Craig and Friends. Welcome to Craig and Friends. Welcome to Craig and Friends.
52 pickup.
Yep, 52 pickup, take two. We hit a lot of points that we loved, you loved, we all loved, individually and as a team. But there was some stuff we did not, namely the press kit, which I mentioned in the prior taping. Again, a gift from the heavens, a.k.a. a blessing from the saint known as Erik Clapp, who joins me today. And, of course, the gift was from the another saint, Bobby Wygant's extensive and awe-inspiring collection. So thank you again, Erik.
Oh, you're very, very, very welcome. I'm glad that I have like an outlet to put some of these press kits. And in this case, we actually had double. So I have one as well, and then you have one.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I'll lift what the cover is a little askew, so I'll do that.
Oh, see, yours has the actual Oh no, you have okay. You've got.
Oh, this is the inside book.
That's the inside. Okay, yeah, I've got the same one. Okay.
With that, oh, my light just changed. I guess I said the magic word. I have this side fill that just decides to change whenever it wants to. We're going to be reading from the press kit in just a moment, and we'll have a recital of sorts.
This is like church. I better get ready.
Well, it is Sunday. I mean, I thought you just knew, but whatever. It's not. There's no judgment here. So I watched the movie again, and I never seem to tire of this movie.
The biggest thing that I like about it more is because I'm doing a project on Frankenheimer is how kind of like it is Frankenheimer, but it's also very much the author that wrote this. And I'm drawing blank.
Elmore Leonard.
Elmore Leonard. Thank you. I'm always, every time I watch it, it feels more Elmore than it does John.
In reading the book, I saw a lot of stretches of dialogue that were completely intact. And that's good, though, because Elmore Leonard writes incredible dialogue, and he co-wrote the script for this after he was reluctant to have it turned into a film because of prior disappointments with film adaptations, the list of which I do not have, but one other project that you can imagine is close to my heart is the Burt Reynolds starring vehicle, also directed by him, Stick, which I think is a terrific film, but the studio did not like the initial cut, and Reynolds later regretted his decision, but he went along with the studio and reshot a bunch of stuff, recut it. There is if not a bootleg, maybe a bonus feature on the Blu-ray of his initial cut. I think it's just, from less than ideal sources. But there's characters that are completely missing in the second draft. So as much as I really enjoyed it, particularly Charlie Durning, he plays a character unlike any other he's played. And Burt wears a pink members-only jacket, to which I say, praise be.
You have to have a members-only jacket in every 80s movie.
And if it's going to be members-only, it better be pink.
Was Stick the one that Altman was involved in, Robert Altman, or was that Heat?
It was Heat, which is mind-blowing. I don't think he shot a day on the movie. And some people feel that he deliberately got fired because he did not want to do it. But him and Burt were friends, so it's a mucky time for him as well. He was actually doing a Canon picture around that time. He did Fool for Love, which is one of the few Altmans I haven't seen because the directors I love the most, I seem to always keep 2 or 3. So there's always one to watch, but I have to sort of get on that. So with Altman, it's Thieves Like Us and Fool for Love and maybe one other. I've seen all of his garbage films. I got that out of the way. And Quintet's one of the worst movies ever, just a note to the viewers. And we talked about Frankenheimer's less than ideal pictures. What's your least favorite? Is it Prophecy?
Ooh, I actually watched Prophecy recently, and I kind of liked it because it's kind of I don't know if to say it's low key, but it's kind of a low key environmental horror movie.
Oh, okay.
Because the monster is a result of environmental hazards and water and stuff like that. So and it mixes with a bear, and you get this crazy bear mutant creature chasing around Talia Shire everywhere. So it's probably in the conversation for the worst, but I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Did you get a chance to watch Riviera?
Riviera.
Oh, the one I sent you on YouTube, and he put a fake name as the directing credit.
Oh, yeah.
How was that? I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
It's not great.
I also figured, you know what? Let's save this to later. When I've seen Prophecy, when I've seen Black Sunday, let's not jump right into this one. You know, maybe we'll rewatch Ronin and all that. Something that jumped out at me on this viewing is that in the end, there is a fair amount of ADR, which is understandable. They're outdoors at Terminal Island, what is it called? The Terminal Island on the highway or freeway on the Long Beach side. I guess it would be freeway. And you mentioned in your fabulous video essay, available now, folks, on Cinema Force's channel on YouTube, that it's the LA that we don't normally see in a lot of movies, particularly big Hollywood spectaculars. And a few things jumped out at me about that. The Terminal Island sequence, Terminal Island Freeway or the roadway, I can't remember the name of it, is also featured in To Live and Die in LA. That's where really? There's a lot of stuff there. The oil rigs and everything, those can be seen from Ruthie's window. So that plays a part in it. And also the motel, where unspeakable things happen to Ann-Margret.
I think I don't know if this came through in the last broadcast of this that we did, but I still think Ann-Margret could take out John Glover easy.
Well, that's why he had to use the heroin.
Yeah, he had to take her down a notch. But yeah, she looked like she could like really just like take him and throw him up against a wall and take him out.
She dealt with Bobby Shy. She certainly clocked him pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When people get hit in the head with implements in a movie, it is such a visceral thing. It's unlike a gunshot. When I saw Sorcerer recently at the Vista, the scene at the end, spoiler alert, folks, if you haven't seen Sorcerer, but if you're listening or watching to this, more than likely you have. Roy Scheider bludgeons one of those bandits with a shovel, and a guy next to me went, "Oh!" Which I thought was amusing for a few reasons. He did not seem to be that into the movie. There was a little bit of chatting going on with him and his lady friend. He was making a lot of candy rustling noise in the last 15 minutes, which is usually an indication that someone is less than wrapped with attention or galvanized.
That's your trigger point, the candy. You've mentioned that to me several times.
I got a couple. Yeah. Sometimes people say, my mom said, well, maybe you shouldn't see it with audiences. I said, no, I only go to certain places where that should not happen. Other places I understand and have to deal with and just, cope with.
I'm with you. I mean, that kind of stuff deters me from going to movies a lot, which is sad.
It is bad, and there's a couple things that deter me. Because I go to revival houses, mostly.
Which you think would be safe.
Yes, exactly. And primarily, Vista and New Beverly are.
A friend of mine told me that he went to go see, was it Twisters or whatever was big right now, Wolverine and Deadpool versus whoever. And
Deadpool versus Twister, I think, is the movie.
Yeah, okay, Deadpool versus Twisters. And he said that a lady sat next to him, pulled out a full screen iPad Pro and turned it on right before the movie, and he just turned to her and said, "No, we're not doing it."
Listen, we have to do this. We have to be the Paul Kersey in these situations.
The last really bad experience I had, and I've had so many, it seems to be happened to just me exclusively, but...
Well, no, I'm right here.
Yeah, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, I went to see that, and there were like an unruly band of probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 teenagers or something, and it got so bad to the point that like a couple of us like actually called the police, and they escorted all of them out. They're all screaming at us. And it's just like, what are we supposed to do? It's
that's the other part of it that's frustrating. When you tell people like that, hey, can you knock it off? Like, hi, what you're doing is bothering me. And implicit is that is sort of, maybe you don't understand that. Then they go, what the fuck, dude? And that is another bit of, I guess, antisocial sociopathic behavior, sociopathy, that I just can't tolerate. And because you think you're the one doing the bad thing. So it's not us. We're we're falling in line with the agreement we have made in the what do they call it? The tacit agreement of being in the crowd. We are
Yeah.
watching the movie and not disturbing you. And then they get all sawn off.
And it also, not to get too far off track here, but it also
No.
like imprints on you that experience that you had with that movie. Like
Yes.
I saw Thanksgiving at the movies, and I thought it was okay. I thought, well, maybe I should rewatch it or something when it came out on streaming. And I saw the poster, and it just immediately brought back those cops taking those guys out, them yelling at us, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to watch that again. So,
Well, I had a bad first viewing of Sorcerer. I was so excited to watch it on Blu-ray when it came out, and there was a real there was one or two guys like floating around my universe that are not in it anymore, and there's a whole bunch of other things I could tell you about this person, but that's best saved for another time. And it was, when someone doesn't want to do something, but they keep telling you they really want to do something, and that would be watching this movie, and they sat there in kind of dumb silence because they're a very dumb person, and had to go, "Hey, how much longer is left in this movie?" And I went, "What? What?" And it was during the, the white bleached landscape where he's like losing his mind.
Yeah.
And all the laughing from the guy who may not be able to laugh anymore. And I wanted to kill him because also why are you here? You kept,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that, and also then I'm disrupted for the last chunk of the movie. So even when I see it, I still remember that. And I really don't want that William Friedkin movie. I don't want that shit on my head. So, remember, watch things you really want to see by yourself.
Yeah.
To the Terminal Island sequence, I noticed this time that a few things John Glover said, well, some of them were clearly added in post, but some of them sounded like maybe someone else was doing it. Sometimes that happens. What do they call that? The ADR group or the loop group? So ADR, of course, folks, you know this, but just in case you don't, or the person next to you doesn't, tap them on the shoulder and remind them, automatic dialogue replacement.
And that is a very, very talented group of people that do that. It's very difficult art.
And I'm looking at the cast list now. And again, this is another wonderful thing about having the press kit. I don't think I would have noticed this or another credit just watching the end crawl. Celebrity voice impersonation, Arlen Miller. Another interesting credit is the drug dealer that Alan gets the scag from in order to dope up Ann-Margret, Blackie Dammit.
Oh,
Father
wow.
to Anthony Kiedis, also the star of National Lampoon's Class Reunion, and one of the guys in the opening 5 to 10 minute sequence in Lethal Weapon. Guy with kind of pockmarked face, dark hair.
Oh, yeah, there it is right there. Drug dealer, Blackie Dammit. Wow.
They didn't even give him a name. Interesting, though, that he got that role. He was in a lot of movies in this capacity. So we already talked about all the cast that are great. And we talked about the partygoers and Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy's credit is Ron Jeremy Hyatt. So, which begs the question, is he related to the Hyatt family? And if so, what went wrong?
Well, we know he's not currently staying at a Hyatt.
No, he's not. No, he is not. Back to the book. Again, I think it's set in Detroit instead of LA. We were wondering earlier in the show about where in Los Angeles it is, and I'll double check because it's in the press kit. That's the thing that made me go, we got to tape another segment, because we're going, where is that? I wonder where that is. I open up the press kit. The first thing I see besides the beautiful photos is blah, 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 Hancock Park. And I was like, I looked at this thing. How did I not absorb the information? I think that, though, was during the Naproxen fugue.
Where's Hancock Park? I have no idea.
It's next to Naproxen. Hancock Park is on the east side. It's, I believe, I don't know if it's on the way to downtown. I am not the best with geography, but it's deep east side. I believe that's where Mark Maron lived for a long, long time, where the original garage was.
Okay.
Yes, so...
I'm assuming some of that was in Long Beach because... It looked like Long Beach to me, just with all the bridges and ports and stuff like that. You
mentioned how Frankenheimer has a history of doing this using modern technology of the day, and how he just swiftly and deftly adapts to whatever decade he's shooting in. the U-matic video camera and all of the video, the television screens, everything in this is reminiscent, of course, as you pointed out, the televisions in Manchurian Candidate. And again, the commentary that you mentioned on American society in general.
If I remembered what I said, I would reiterate it, but I don't.
Well, I'm going to remember, and then I'm going to put in some falsehoods, and then you folks have to figure out what it is.
That's cool.
What they are, not just one thing. Oops, I gave it away. Alan is sort of representative of all the ills of American society. Of course, this is from Elmore Leonard's text. However, as shown in the film, there's still a shading by Frankenheimer of this venal, amoral, material goods obsessed person. There's no soul, but the more possessions you stack up, it doesn't matter how you got them or what path it took you to get there. It's all justified.
His wife, Ann-Margret, his car, his house, his girlfriend, played by Kelly Preston. He's just fascinated by all these like items that he has, and he wants that, and he's willing to do horrible things to get these things. So yeah.
We had left off when we were talking about Bobby attacking them in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, it's a visceral, total jump scare, even when you've seen it a number of times. You know, oh, he's going there, and then this is going to happen. It's so beautifully choreographed and filmed. And again, this is, I guess, Frankenheimer's, one of his specialties. He knows how to deliver whatever the emotion is supposed to be. Dramatic, comedic, whatever. So perfectly.
Clarence Williams III is this very menacing guy. He's kind of weird, kind of oddball. You're not really sure what he is capable of doing. And at this point in Roy Scheider and Ann-Margret's relationship, they're pretty much on the outs. But Roy Scheider's confidence that he is going to save her in this moment and he is going to fight for her almost gives them both like super steroid energy and just completely diffuses anything that Clarence Williams III, oh, I'm so sorry. It completely diffuses, my mail went off, completely diffuses anything that Clarence Williams III was about to do. He completely turns the table on him. And I think it kind of turns Ann-Margret on a little bit.
He admits that he fucked up and expresses his regret. So it's a combination of his incredible protectiveness, but also capability in foiling this guy. The combo of that with the vulnerability. Scheider's face is very expressive anyway. As you said in your essay, available on Cinema Force, he's a revelation because you know him, you love him, you've seen him in many things, all that jazz, Jaws. He is stunning in this. And as you said, it's no wonder that he was so keen to be in it.
Yeah, and I think one thing about his character that they do talk about it a little bit. I think Glover mentions it too, but he is ex-military, and he's been dormant in that field for a long time. And this sort of like, unfortunately, through a series of horrible events, wakes him up and kind of revitalizes like his masculinity and his military, gumption and MacGyverness and all that kind of stuff, and kicks it into high gear.
And there's something in the book that is really interesting and adds to that, in that when he starts handling them, when he starts going to the porn store and playing the mind games with them, he's such an expert at that. We don't see any evidence of that before, but he's clearly an analytical genius because of his business and how he came up from nothing to achieve this. There's a whole sequence where a mutual friend of theirs tries to put the moves on her, and yet he's sort of, Mitch is in a place where he can't really say anything about what she's doing because of what he did. But when she's talking about Scheider's character, she said, well, there's a coldness there when something is really bothering him or when he needs to fix a problem, there's a coldness. And it's not quite sociopathic, but he's going to take care of business. It was something that they really underestimated when they decided to tangle with him. And then we covered that before. They just saw him as like an old businessman. That would be an easy mark. And
going back to your point too, that Scheider really did want this role. Like he actually actively like called himself and said, I really want to do this. And even so much as helping with the script when Frankenheimer wasn't happy with the first draft. He came in and Elmore Leonard himself came in. They all three sort of got in there and tackled the beast.
You don't ever think generally of the lead actor, contributing like that unless they're interfering. Some said that about Ed Norton in American History X. The director had quite a lot of things to say about him and his interference in that. But I mean, that's a great film. Wildly disturbing.
Just a little.
Just a touch. Meanwhile, this is an incredibly disturbing film, I can imagine, to a lot of people. I found it breathtaking.
That was Clarence Williams III. Remember him from TV's Mod Squad a long time ago? Haven't seen him in a very long time, and he's a pretty good villain in this piece. In fact, a number of the performances are very good, especially Roy Scheider, and John Glover is the leader of the extortion gang. He is creepy and smart. The movie broke down, though, for me in two ways. One, I thought its story was highly contrived, too many loopholes in behavior. And second, I thought the violent sex in the film was much more than I cared to stomach. And that comes from the same guy who last week said he liked the violent, sexually violent, Something Wild, and I also liked the sexually violent Blue Velvet. But this picture, I thought, really lingered over its violence, and that turned me off, even though I did enjoy the performances and the general outline of the story. It's a close call, but I wouldn't recommend 52 Pickup to a friend.
Well, I would recommend it to a friend, and I thought it was one of the best movies in a long time by John Frankenheimer, the director, who has been through a bad period, and this is really his comeback with a vengeance. And I love John Glover's performance as the villain. I think one of the things that so many modern thrillers forget, because they get a big star as the hero, and then the whole movie is about the star, and the villains are just these people that come on and go through their rote and leave and so forth. This villain is a great villain. In fact, there were three villains in the movie altogether. Glover is the best one. And he's so evil and so convincing in his evil and so slick and so intelligent, as you said, that makes the movie work for me.
Roger, do you think the movie would be helped if they simply cut out some of the sex and the explicit sex? I think it would be helped tremendously. I would recommend it,
I think what they're trying to do is be true to the author of the novel, Elmore Leonard, who a lot of people think is the best mystery writer in America today, and of course in his books. The plots are complicated, just like this plot that you thought was too complicated.
Not complicated.
The violence is always very bizarre and very strung out, and I think they're trying to get that same feeling.
One thing.
This guy is a really slimy killer, and you've got to identify how slimy he is to make Scheider's reaction more convincing.
What's on the page can be one thing. When it's put on the screen, it can go overboard. And that's all I'm saying is I think that they went overboard and ruined what, in many other ways, is a good film.
Well, if there's one thing I know when I see a thriller, it's that I'm not going to be thrilled with a modern thriller 9 times out of 10 because they haven't had any imagination. So this time it worked for me, so maybe I'm giving a pass to some of this other stuff. I don't know. I would recommend it.
There is a minimization of the sexual violence from the book in the film, as is common, because sometimes you can write stuff in a book that you cannot show on screen. American Psycho, great example of that. So when Alan kidnaps Barbara, he does smack her against that stone wall when she tries to escape. Meanwhile, I don't know, was there a gate there? Maybe she just should have jumped into the water. She's quite a good swimmer, as he notes himself. In the book, he actually punches her in the face in the hotel room, and it's brr. And there's a couple lines about, she's like, wait, what happened? What did you do? Sorry, folks, trigger warning, gross, scary, trigger. She said, wait, what happened? And he said, well, I'll just tell you this. Whatever it was, you couldn't get pregnant from it. And I went, ooh, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that scene goes on a little bit longer. He shoots her up a couple more times. But unlike in the film, at a certain point, he skin pops as well.
Oh, wow.
But I appreciate that they honed the character. They also made him different from the hippie-ish guy in the book. Again, it's set maybe in a different time. A few years makes a big difference. But he had the mattress on the floor. That still holds in the clubhouse. And he did have women, but they were underage women over. So the scene where Clarence Williams III comes in and goes, get the bitches out of here. That would have been a couple of underage girls. In the book, he has neighbors who come over and they do all sorts of things and he gives them drugs. So he's got a bit of a sweet tooth, a disgusting expression that people say when referring to that in certain circles. So,
yeah, I love Clarence Williams III in this. He's so good.
Yeah, he's great. And in the book, his character is repeatedly doing a lot of drugs, doing coke all the time and some heroin as well, I believe. The way that they got the sweat to just stay on his face, I don't know, it must be gelatin or something, because he is very sweaty. He is very disturbingly sweaty.
Yeah, it's like that movie that I just did a retrospective on, Extreme Prejudice, with Nick Nolte, that Walter Hill directed. Everyone in that movie is sweating profusely at all times. Like they must have just had like a water hose. Okay, action.
Yeah, they got Michael Mann's water tank, and go ahead.
Exactly. No, I was going to say they probably just had a guy with a water hose just spraying people down, sweat. But yeah,
he just kept the hose running, and they just go, Nick, walk through. Okay, Powers, walk through. Okay, let's reset.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing with the heroine and Ann-Margret reminded me of French Connection 2, where they try to lock up Gene Hackman and turn him into a heroin addict in that movie. So it's like kind of the second time Frankenheimer's kind of explored this, heroin captive scenario.
And in the book, again, he shoots her up more than once, but he goes, "Hey, I'm not trying to hook you." And then the rest of the dialogue is exactly like in the film.
This won't be hot. Maybe a little warm going in. Maybe just skag. Give you a nice slow ride uptown, see lights. Oh, Jesus, I'm not hooking you. I wanna make it quiet and easy to handle. Now put your leg out. Either one. Make it warm and quiet. That's okay. That happens. That's okay. That's okay. Just don't let it ruin your high, though.
His clubhouse is a thing of wonder. The lights and the mirror. And even after seeing it this many times, when Bobby shoots the mirror, I go, oh, no. There's always that small... Go ahead.
I was going to say, his place reminds me, in Texas, we have a lot of Tex-Mex Mexican restaurants, and with all the Christmas lights, it looks like a Tex-Mex restaurant, just with some, just some porn people hanging out, and there's some chips and salsa being served, and it looks like a very inviting place. I don't know. What do you think?
That looks like a fun place to hang out, as long as Alan's nowhere near it. Although that shot and beer joint that Robert Trebor, Leo Frank is in. Oh, I read an interview with Robert where he talks about getting cast in the film. He had done a lot of stage work. Then he was a bit typecast because he played the Son of Sam murderer. Name I forget, Berkowitz. That whole thing just... Ugh. There's also alternate theories onto what actually was behind the whole thing, not just his dog. I don't want to get into it now because even the thought of it curdles my stomach. So go ahead, look that up, folks. Glad to share that with you. And he unfortunately looked a bit like Berkowitz, so then it was hard to, separate him from the legend. But then he got a tip on getting in this, and I think he was in LA for another 24 hours. And the production manager, casting agent rather, said, okay, go to his production office in Santa Monica. He gets there, and the secretary says, no, sorry. John doesn't see people here, like for auditions. He doesn't see actors here. But I was told, no, I'm sorry, he doesn't see. And it went on. And then he finally left. Like, what am I going to do? I got to call the casting agent. Right at that moment, Frankenheimer got out of the office through another door to an elevator, and he just screamed, John, Mr. Frankenheimer. And he was like, I don't see. And he explained his story. He was like pissed off, but he was like, okay, come on. They went into the back. They did the audition, and he said, like, well, that was really good. And he maybe intimated to him that we have someone else in mind, but I think you might be the guy. So they had to do a round two. He did it and won it. His film career never really took off after, not just because of the underperformance of this film, but he never moved to L.A. kind of in time. He had a couple cracks at it. Later, there was some actor he worked, Martin Sheen. He worked with Martin Sheen on a miniseries. He invited Trebor to stay at his home and was his big brother, if you will. Like, this is what you should do. This is like, get an agent. You need to do this. And then there was another project that came up that the original lead left, had to be replaced. Martin Sheen was cast. And then he said, I want this guy, Robert Trebor, to be whatever character. Because he couldn't get there in time and he was doing a lot of commercial work, etc. in New York, he missed the gig. That's when he decided to move to L.A. Might have been a little too late. But excellent performance.
I know I've seen him in other stuff because his face is very recognizable to me. But, I can't remember, what he's been in. But I thought he was really great. And he's the one character in the film that you really do feel sorry for.
Oh, absolutely. When he is telling Scheider about how there is no body, the films are gone too. The desperation on his face, even the rest of the time, his bold fake persona when he's like, "It's looking good the way we knew it would."
Yeah,
but the real him is the whimpering. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he all he wants to do is he wants to just take this cash and take his boyfriend and just go. That's all he wants to do. And unfortunately, he doesn't quite get there. Spoiler alert! But you do feel for him. Oh, this is a guy who kind of got in over his head. He was against everything that happened, and now he just wants to run away from it and move on with his life. With his
lover. Yeah. And there was a fairly sensitive portrayal of a gay relationship in here. And interestingly, as happens many times in various films, particularly in this era, there's a gay couple in it, but there's a gay actor in it. John Glover.
Yeah.
Leo's arc in the book is slightly different. At least there's more backstory. He met Alan around the time that he bought the porno house or the strip joint or whatever you want to call it. A house of great respect to women. So he was left an inheritance when his mother passed away of $25,000, which when the book is set, which is, I believe, late 70s, early 80s, would be a substantial amount of money. So he thought, great, I'm set. And he bought the place. And then he met Alan and lent Alan $10,000. Now, what do you think? Do you think he got it back?
No.
And I think that's probably how he was roped into a lot of these things. And also you can see the manipulative relationship or the manipulative mastery of Alan when he's like, Leo, come here, I'm sorry. And he's rubbing his shoulders and everything.
The guy must have some dough. He showed me $10,000. Huh?
I told you the man has money. The government has him by the balls.
A guy makes that much. How come he has nothing left? You know that for sure?
No, I'm making it up! Oh, Leo, I'm sorry. Come here. Come here, Leo. Come here. Come here to me.
I didn't.
I know.
I didn't do it.
Leo, listen to me. I saw the books. I saw the correspondence from the IRS on their stationery. But then I asked the guy, I said, who was it told you where to find me? Oh, he said it was you.
I didn't tell him, Jesus Christ!
Okay,
I even thought the first name!
Okay!
Yeah, you definitely feel like there's some history between Leo and him. And, I guess that's the cool thing about movies is sometimes the mystery is better left unsaid. Whereas in books, you have the time to detail that kind of backstory, but in movies, you just get a hint of things because you got to move on to the main event. So,
the way that we're plunged into the movie with the incredible lighting effect of we're in the same place as Harry, we can't see them at the beginning. The flashlight goes in our eyes. It's so clever how the use of light blinds him basically because there's only the light of the TV. Oh, that's another thing that's different in the book. Of course, video technology was maybe not what it would be at the time, though video cameras obviously were available, but much like the one scene in The Ambassador that has a
oh my gosh,
corollary to this, it's 16 millimeter film. And in the book, they actually take him to a theater because Alan is a projectionist, but they go to some unused theater. And there's a bit actually where he says, okay, sport, if you want to come get this copy, it's up here along with the rental projector, which was rented out in your name. And you talked in the essay about Vacano, Jost Vacano.
Mm-hmm.
What he says is, in the press kit, is quoted as, whatever young cameraman in Europe dreams about, this is his accent, of course, because he's from Europe, dreams about is to make one picture in Hollywood. It's very nice working here, and from the first day, it was wonderful working with John Frankenheimer. And I think never in my life, and I've been making films for 28 years, have I had such understanding and feeling from a director. It is a wonderful experience. That's a remarkable thing. A European cameraman who works with European directors. not having the same kind of connection with the director as he did with Frankenheimer.
Yeah, and Frankenheimer lived in Europe, and so, I'm sure he respects world cinema in general, and so I'm sure he saw Das Boot and thought, oh wow, if this guy can get this kind of like camera movement and angles and stuff in a submarine, and I'm about to make a very cheap Canon movie, I need someone that can move fast. And I'm sure Vacano was like more than game to do that. I mean, he's probably just happy to get out of a friggin' submarine.
I'm sure he was like, wait, this warehouse, we're shooting in this warehouse? Great. I'm cool. I'm cool.
Vacano, best known for his stunning work on the German film Das Boot, used a camera he invented especially for that film. The camera is called a Yosticam. It is a very specialized handheld camera that allows for a wide range of smooth movements in a constricted area.
It's a Araflex camera with gyroscopes on it so that it looks like the camera is on a dolly. But in reality, it's being handheld, and it gives us much more freedom of movement. It was a true collaboration. We would rehearse scenes, and we would discuss with each other how we thought they should be photographed, and it was a terrific give-and-take relationship. And then after we arrived at how to do it, Yost was able to carry it out. That's the wonderful thing about it. You can usually arrive at some complicated formula as to what you're going to do, but then get the guy to do it. And Vacano is just as good a technician as he is an artist, and that's very, very important.
The Yosticam. And he says, all special things you have to invent. I also have some special lenses I'm using where you can get focus close up to infinity all in one shot, and even with an open shot, you can get interesting and new effects. Now, we were talking a lot about Frankenheimer's penchant for situations like this, so I wonder how much his approach was enhanced by these special lenses.
Probably a lot, because, excuse me, Frankenheimer coming from TV had to work fast. And he worked, under Sidney Lumet as well. And so he also liked to work fast. And so a lot of times to save setup time, you would put 2 or 3 actors even in the same shot and try to keep them all in focus. And to do that, you need a really fast lens to pull that off. And that kind of became Frankenheimer's trademark, is like one face in one side of the shot and then someone off in the foreground or the background. And being able to not have to cut or even pull focus. They can play out the whole scene like a stage right there. And so I'm sure Frankenheimer really liked, like we were talking about earlier with Das Boot, the speed at which he could use with those cameras.
Again, anybody that's seen my work, whether it be in films or in television, can know that there is a kind of signature shot, which is a head or a half a from the waist up here in the foreground, and the other person in focus behind them. I mean, I use that all the time. And sometimes I'll stage just to get there, because I know it's very effective on the screen.
For anyone that doesn't know what composition is, describe that.
Well, anybody that doesn't know what composition is shouldn't be looking at this shot, shouldn't be looking at this show. So I'm not going to describe it. But let them look it up in the fucking dictionary. Let's go on.
Like, I know a fair bit about cameras, nowhere near what you know. And I know stuff about focal length, the focal plane, etc. But for listeners or viewers, we don't want to discriminate, who might not be as familiar, could you just give like an A-B kind of thing about lenses?
Well, what do you mean? Like
say like 2 examples maybe, or 3 examples that you can think of different kinds of lenses and the effect that they have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like the lens that I'm using right now is a zoom lens. So it's like you can get a 50 millimeter on that, which is kind of like a portrait lens, like you would see like a school portrait or a graduation portrait or something like that, where you have like a lot of depth of field behind you. So, it's like blurrier, which they call bokeh. Whereas Frankenheimer,
they call it bokeh? That's interesting.
Bokeh.
No.
not
so
poke
bars. Never mind. Yeah, please continue.
Photographers like bokeh bowls, but yeah, you can take like a 50 millimeter lens or an 85 millimeter lens, and it's kind of like a highlight lens. Like it's really showcasing a person's face. It's highlighting that person's face. Whereas you use maybe a wider lens, like Frankenheimer liked to use, like even like 12 millimeter lenses or 11 millimeter lenses. Now, those are very wide, but the faster they are, so if you have like a faster speed lens, you can keep more things in focus. So like I can have, two people in shot at the same time, and one of them may be a little bit out of focus. I think you noticed that a little bit in 52 pickup. And so, it just kind of changes the way you can use a lens. It's maybe not as sexy as a 50 millimeter lens or an 85 millimeter lens, but it definitely like helps you get your story out in bigger chunks quicker.
Mm-hmm. Well, it also saves you from doing certain effects like rack focus, which can be used for specific and it's not necessary editorial choice needs. Sometimes that jumps out at me, a rack focus, and I think, or when it's back and forth, someone's in the background, someone's in the foreground, and it's back and forth, and I think, I actually find this a little distracting. I would kind of like to see both people, and then the emphasis would be on whoever I guess I feel is dominating the moment. You rarely see a rack focus onto the person not speaking if there's two people and one speaking.
A lot of directors, like, say like a Michael Bay or someone who's very visual, they pick lenses just because they look cool, like the shot looks cool. Whereas you look at like a Sidney Lumet or Frankenheimer, like Lumet says in his books, Making Movies, they asked, he was talking about lenses and stuff like that. He goes, I don't really think about that. He goes, what I think about is the character.
Yeah.
Does this lens, is this going to be the right choice for this scene for the character? Does this display the right emotion for the character? If it doesn't, then we're not using it. If just because it looks cool, that's not the right reason to use this lens. It's not telling the story the proper way. And I think Frankenheimer subscribed to that very much so. Absolutely.
And Friedkin as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So in terms of locations, the strip joint was not picked. So for the strip joint, this is what happens when you're just reading it on the fly. So Philip Harrison, he's the designer of the sets, and he did give the Mitchells' house a really specific look. The Mitchells, incidentally, in the book, have 2 adult children, something I'm so thankful they did not have in this, because the inevitable, but what about Mitch Jr., or whatever. That'd be Mitch Mitchell. That's the drummer from Jimi Hendrix Experience. Is in the book, but not the film. Now you know who his dad was.
I think that happens in films a lot. I think in Ferris Bueller, supposedly there was like 2 or 3 other kids that they edited out, and the only existence you see of them is on the refrigerator. There's a family photo of like 5 kids instead of just Ferris and Jennifer Grey.
There's a lot of that in that movie. I recommend everyone checking out this video essay. I wish I could remember the author, but it's about how the film was so radically restructured in editing that it was almost as if it was the editing of the script. And when they talk about the way the movie would have went otherwise, you think, wow, that really wouldn't have hit the way it did. That happens a lot, but also John Hughes did that quite a bit. He shot so much footage. And who's to say that that's wrong, but it's divergent from the notion that, wow, John Hughes, who wrote scripts in 3 days sometimes less, just had a perfect vision of the thing and boom, pow, it was on the paper. It's not necessarily the case. It doesn't need to be, but, sometimes these overly reverential things about him, overly reverential until they get to Curly Sue and Made in Manhattan. There was another Baby's Day Out. That was the ultimate pinnacle of his work.
End of his career was not a happy ride.
No, he wasn't a very cheerful guy. You read some stuff about him and Howie Deutsch. Woof, he would just drop people. Anyhow, production shot at that house for 2 weeks because they got special permission to shoot in the neighborhood despite an imposed moratorium on filming in that area because of its popularity. And then they were looking around for a strip joint, but then Harrison decided to build the nude modeling salon on the Hollywood Street corner of Santa Monica and Vine. That's really interesting, too. It's not on a soundstage. They built on a real location.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
I guess it makes those matching external or exterior interior shots a little easier.
A little easier, yeah.
The fabricated salon was so realistic that customers started showing up, wondering when they would open.
And then here's Clarence Williams. He'll be serving you today.
That'd be great if they just went with it. It was like a pop-up. I'd like a 52 pickup pop-up. I'm not sure where the limit should be. I mean, I know that you don't want. Oh, they just killed her. That would not be good. But that reminds me in a sideways way because of Kelly Preston that as you walk towards the Vista, the Scientology Media blah 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 Center is right there.
Yeah, I walked by that when I was there last time.
They make all of their fine films. They're fine films. Fine films, which you can also see on their DirecTV channel, and not on Cinema Force YouTube channel. The owner of a competing shop down the street asked if he could buy in to the new venture. How great would it be if Frankenheimer was like, you know what? I kind of lost a lot of money in France. Let's do it. Let's do it.
This guy down the street, he really kind of has something for Leo.
He really does. Oh, wait a second. They had to blow the window out. Is that going to happen all the time? What's going on? So, for the scene at the stadium, Frankenheimer decided to not shoot during an actual game, which is what it feels like. And also knowing that he did that for Black Sunday.
Yes.
Which must have been such a complicated shoot. He got 400 extras and, I know what it is. So it says he declined the use of rear projection. So is that what he did in Black Sunday? Did he shoot at the game and then use that as the backdrop?
Man, I really don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that there's a multitude of things used in Black Sunday to get certain shots because there's a lot of stuff going on in that blimp at the end. So yeah, you definitely need to check that movie out. It's
I really do. I think I confused it or conflated it with 2 Minute Warning, which I saw and liked it, but also I enjoyed it because John Cassavetes is in it, and anything he's in, it's a good time. 400 extras were called in to fill an entire section of the stadium, and Frankenheimer shot Roy Scheider's scenes during a Dodgers-Mets game. Okay, so what the hell? He did shoot. That's confusing.
Because definitely there's got to be something going on because
there's players on the field.
Yeah. And there's wide shots and everything, and there's even like when that wide shot of them making the deal, you can see players on the field in the background.
When you see Carbone coming out with the envelope to hand to Bobby, you can see in the background all that stuff going on. So, for instance, to follow up with what you were saying about lenses, when you say depth of field, it's not blurry in the background. We can see what's going on in the back. So would that be an example of depth of field as pertaining to a faster lens?
Yeah, if the faster the lens, like say like a f2 or something like that, you're going to be able to knock out that background and just focus on your subject. Whereas like that scene we're just talking about where they're making the deal and the players are in the background, they're still going to be a little out of focus, but you want to like make sure you get a lot of stuff in focus. So
right, you want to get the milieu, and with that also long lenses, which I guess would be what you're using, yes, are known for not necessarily the amount of depth of field or something. I remember hearing about that, like, oh, don't use a zoom lens because fill in the blank.
Well, you don't want to use like a really long lens, something like the one I'm using only goes up to 75 millimeters. So the one, like if you want to use like a 200 millimeter lens, a zoom lens or something like that, then you got to be really far back, but that also gives you a unique look. I'm trying to think of a filmmaker that does that a lot. Well, like P.T. Anderson will do that a lot, where he like will get way far back and put the long lens on a dolly, and it's very hard to focus when you're doing that because the focus is so critical and you're so far away and you're having to constantly pull. But yeah, it makes you feel like it gives you like a weird sort of warped feel, like almost like a dreamlike state.
Especially what I'm imagining you're referring to is like thing where they're pulling up on someone, and sometimes they're I can't remember what the term is. It's like a Scorsese thing he does a lot, like zoom in and pull back or something like that, or move forward and zoom out. I don't know the name for it.
Yeah.
Something we didn't get to is a comment from Damian Matthews. Hello, Damian, and thank you for this note. Damian wrote, I will be curious to hear if either of you mentioned Outside Man, also starring Scheider and Ann-Margret. I just saw it. It's absolutely fantastic. It actually feels to me more like an Elmore Leonard story than 52 PickUp. And it features what may be the single greatest moment of Ann-Margret's film career. Her first appearance on screen here is stunning. I have to agree with that. And you'd seen it before, right?
I got it right here. I brought it.
Ooh, nice one. Excellent
great,
work.
really, really, really good movie. And the thing that I liked about this movie is that it feels like it's almost like a travelogue of Los Angeles at this time, which is early 70s, 1972. And there's long takes, long pans of LA city and streets, and it takes its time, and it follows people across the street, and you're panning, and you're panning, and you're panning. So you get you really feel like you're in LA. Like it's really amazing. Like it's almost like a time capsule that you're watching. And is it a great crime film? Maybe not, but
it's pretty good.
It's French, and it has I don't know that it quite embraces an LA noir, but it does its own thing, and it takes its time, and it's well paced, and it's cool that Roy Scheider and Ann-Margret were in something like this, and then did 52 PickUp. I mean, even though they're not the pairing in the film, it's right. Yeah, Roy Scheider's the bad guy. He's the John Glover of this one.
Precious little dialogue. Almost no dialogue, which is kind of interesting. It is great because a lot of those scenes where there's basically the pursuit, there's no dialogue or very little. And if it's from someone, it's not from the two principals. Yeah.
And I wanted to see more of this guy's stuff. I'm trying to think of his name. Jacques Debay, is that how you say his name?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's how you just said the name, so I can confirm that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jacques.
No,
I got it wrong. Jacques Deray, my bad. But yeah, Outside Man. It's on the Kino Lorber disc, and it's got commentary by Howard S. Berger, who's always awesome. And it's got the uncut version, and then it's got the French version too.
So with the French version, I always imagine those to be more violent.
I don't think I watched the French version, but yeah, it's got Jackie Earle Haley's in it, John Hillerman. Talia Shire's in it. It's really cool.
Jackie Earle Haley? I watched it and I didn't notice him in it. He must be really young in it, though.
Yeah, this is around like Bad News Bears.
Oh, we see that kid, Haley. The kid that when the guy
at the very beginning. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And and who else? I was going to mention Georgia Ingalls in it, which is
Who's
amazing.
That?
She was in like some 70s shows that were used to be really big. I'm trying to remember the name of the show, but when you see her face, you immediately remember. I'm going to look it up.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about based on my reaction to her in the film. While you're looking that up, I'd like to mention that Frankenheimer was really interested in this property. When he finished reading it, he asked his agent to find out who owned the book, as he said, because I wanted to buy it. When he reported that Canon owned the project, I asked them if I could get involved, and they immediately said yes. But of course, as we mentioned before, probably the ambassador kind of gummed up the works, but I think that was existing beforehand. But Golan Globus had no problem turning one property into two films. Classic thing about them.
Oh yeah, no problem there. I think he called. I guess he, from what I remember, Frankenheimer said he read the book or something like on a plane. He picked it up at the airport, and as soon as he got off the plane, he called his agent to figure out what was going on with the rights. And they said, "Oh, Canon has it, and they just made it into a movie." And he's like, "Nobody saw that movie. We'll do it again."
I worked with Hudson when he meant something.
That's right.
That accent is nowhere near close to Frankenheimer. Frankenheimer has a very erudite Massachusetts accent, from what I can remember.
Yeah, very military in structure.
Yes. Wait, something caught my eye. Oh, Kelly Preston's film debut was in a small role in the Bronson thriller 10 to Midnight.
First thing I saw her in was Mischief.
Oh, I've never seen that. I remember seeing the video box.
Oh, yeah. If you were a young, hormonal teenager, that movie did a lot of damage with that.
Whoever her co-star was in that, like Doug something. I remember looking at the box going, so he looks like Anthony Michael Hall, but yet did he ever make another movie? I'm always fascinated by sort of teen movie semi-stars because the movies were sort of, neither here nor there in terms of success, but then you never really see them again. And I thought that would be a pisser, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I may have seen him in one other thing, but I so remember him from that movie because it was so impressionable, and he's very short, kind of a short guy, and not, he definitely could have been in like Revenge of the Nerds or something.
the critical difference with the ending.
There was a climactic scene in the film where the character that John Glover plays gets his comeuppance, but it didn't quite have enough bite in it. Since he had such a love of this car, such lust for this car that I owned, that the character owned, I said to John, what would happen if we locked the guy in the car and blew the car up? And if we put something on the radio, and I said, how about we'll put Stars and Stripes Forever on the radio? And he turns the radio on, and he gets the message.
Hi, Alan. This is the first and last 10 seconds of the rest of your life.
And the reinforced windows are good. Don't know how that happened, but hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah, he retrofitted that car really fast.
Yes, he did. Any other Elmore Leonard adaptations you can remember seeing besides, say, Jackie Brown and Get Shorty?
Man, not off the top of my head, no. I'm trying to think. The Ambassador.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the greatest one, right? Can you imagine him watching that?
Oh my gosh.
Elmore, come in. We want to show you a film. We think you'll really appreciate what we've done to you with your work. I want to show another real highlight of the Canon oeuvre. This is a film called Going Bananas. Anyone who's seen the Electric Boogaloo documentary will enjoy. And if you haven't, well, you'll know what it's about if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, just watch that section of the documentary before watching the rest. There will be a piece coming. I can't say a full movie club, but a piece coming about this film, which is an atrocity of a picture. One you can't find easily. So, Eric, if you want, I got transferred it.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
that's the one with the guy in the monkey suit, right?
I believe it's Deep Roy. I could be wrong. I think it's Deep Roy who played the Oompa Loompas in that Johnny Depp Candy picture.
No, I just remembered The Tall Tea, the Western by Bud Bediger. Bediger is an Elmore Leonard movie, and one of my favorite movies of all time, Out of Sight, with George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez.
Right. That's a fabulous film.
Yeah, and I think there's a Bronson in there too. Mr. Majestic is Elmore Leonard.
Oh, that's right. I've never seen Mr. Majestic.
It's great. It's really good.
Ombre, something from 1967. Kill Shot from 2008. What is that?
There was a movie called Cat Chaser.
Oh my God, wait a second. That's directed by Abel Ferrara.
Oh, that's right. I should know that.
Well, no, I didn't know about Cat Chaser until doing the Fear City movie club with Rich. And I looked up to see what other things he had done around the same time.
You mean Rich Johnson?
Yeah. Rich Johnson, whose voice is really a bit higher than that, as we always mask it.
We love Rich Johnson.
I was like doing an Abel Ferrara, and I'm hoping it's close to accurate. I don't know, because you can never hear your own impressions like someone else's. You dig? So
that's pretty good. My favorite Abel Ferrara is an audio commentary for Driller Killer, and he's obviously wasted out of his mind, and he starts to forget his own movie, and he's watching someone hide behind a door, and he goes, "Oh shit, look out, man. Oh my God." He's just completely entertained by his own film.
I've yet to see that movie. I have a download rip of it. From legitimate source, of course, folks. I would never go to the gray market. And I believe it might have the commentary on it. Because, the friend who sent it to me, because I already own it, may have included the commentary. So now I get the treat of, since I haven't seen the film, watching it, and then immediately watching it with the commentary now that I know that such a gem like that exists. I wish there was a commentary on Blue Chips, the one Friedkin film, I believe, that reached DVD or Blu-ray without a commentary. Although maybe possibly Jade. I'm going to have to investigate that.
Yeah, you're gonna force me to rewatch that, and I really don't want to. But
I don't want to either. Did I rewatch it? When did I watch that? I watched it on tape when it came out, didn't like it. Watched it during the pandemic thinking, you know what? That was a long time ago. I bet I'll enjoy this. It's free. Oh, no, I don't like this.
You're talking about Blue Chips, right?
Oh, no. That I saw for the first time in the last year. I did a movie club on it that's yet to be released. Or maybe it's already out now. Who knows with the magic of time. But I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Okay. I'll have to rewatch it. I'm a big basketball nerd, and so I know I saw it once when it came out, and I hated it, but maybe I need to rewatch it. I don't know.
I wish that there was a Frankenheimer commentary for this, or one with Roy Scheider, or Ann-Margret, or especially John Glover.
Frankenheimer did a lot of commentaries. Like, I have tons of discs and laser discs with Frankenheimer commentaries, and luckily for each new release they keep porting them over, so that's good.
Oh, that's fantastic! I'm very happy to hear that. And
I'm surprised he didn't do one for this.
I wonder if it only reached DVD/Blu-ray after he passed.
I guess 52 Pickup kind of got lost in the shuffle. Like that video I have behind me, that's on like a Good Times video cassette. So.
Oh no! Oh, that's why the cover's different. I was trying to figure out if that was the second pressing. Oh, I know. I wrote you. I said Video Treasures. They're the devil.
Yeah. So it probably fell into like a weird Canon MGM void there for the last years of his life, I'm sure.
Yeah, because there's no reason why this film wasn't more widely seen outside of Canon's failing finances, I think.
Yeah, and it wasn't an expensive movie. I don't think it was very big budget at all.
And it wasn't very big at the box office either. Apparently it opened in 730 theaters, which is not that bad, except if you don't promote it, that can be bad. And the title isn't exactly indicative, really, of what it's about. I think when I was a kid, I confused it with Fever Pitch, the Ryan O'Neal picture about a gambler.
I thought it was going to be about a pickup truck, to be completely... No, I really did. Like,
no, I'm laughing at I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at like how great that would be, a movie about a 1952 Ford pickup truck.
It makes sense. I mean...
It does. There's been lesser films made about less plot and ideas. So the box office apparently was 1,654,000, which was 31% of total gross. So it didn't do terrifically well. I guess it what's that, like $400? No. Was it like $4 million maybe? It came back.
Yeah. I mean, this was. I think at least the video probably helped. I mean, I remember seeing this poster in video stores forever. It seemed like it was a perennial rental favorite. It was just always at the video store. I recently did a rewatch of 8 Million Ways to Die.
Yes.
And, To Live and Die in LA is one of my favorite movies as well. And 52 Pickup.
I've been meaning to check that movie out.
Oh, 8 Million Ways to Die?
No, To Live and Die in LA, I hear it's really good.
Yeah. It's okay. It's average at best.
Do you think I'd like it, though? I don't know. I don't want to just jump in.
It's just a Miami Vice retread. But those three films, and even you could even throw Body Double in there a little bit, too.
Yeah.
But those three films, the LA Noirs, they all, like, seem like they could exist in the same universe. Like, I feel like one character from one film could walk into the bar from the other film, and they all seem like they could kind of coexist, and they're all made around the same year. So,
which is also amazing. There's something in the zeitgeist, not necessarily commercially, but something in the air, at least in the artistic minds.
Yeah, so those three films are kind of like my little unofficial trilogy I've determined. So I'm just going to, I don't know, that's a very nerdy film thing to do, but I think 52 Pickup...
Don't you mean a very fun and fulfilling film thing to do?
Yeah, and I think 8 Million Ways to Die the title should be changed to 8 Million Ways to Die in LA.
Or 8 Million Ways to Cut a Film that will irritate your cast, because legendarily that was taken away from Hal Ashby, one of the greatest editors in show business, by Producers Sales Organization, the clearly artistically minded organization that funded the film.
And you can tell that too by the rewatch. There's a lot of scenes that just sort of like start, stop. They're like, well, okay, wait, what?
And Bridges and Arquette both said that they did a whole range of options for the scenes, and that almost uniformly, or at least half the movie, the producers picked the worst takes. So even though the content's there, they hate how half of it comes across. I would love for a restored version of that to come out so we can compare and contrast how they are. And I believe a lot of it, at least in terms of Andy Garcia's character, was made up on the set.
Yeah, I saw there was a couple little docs on the disc. I know we're getting off on a tangent here, but Garcia.
Hey, folks, again, if you're still here,
yeah, if you're still here in the lobby, but Andy Garcia talked about that. He said that the way that the character, his bad guy was supposed to be like a kind of a big, broady, macho, masculine, like brooding guy, and he didn't do that at all. And so he kind of brought something completely different to it that Ashby liked. And so it did kind of change like that. But yeah, I mean, 52 Pickup, 8 Million Ways to Die, To Live and Die in LA. That's my little unofficial LA noir thing, and I'm sticking to it. And 52 Pickup, I'm a huge Frankenheimer fan. I love the guy. I have a couple of films of his that I need to track down that I haven't seen, one of which I have sitting around. But I love Frankenheimer. I love 52 Pickup. I think you were the one that mentioned to do this, and I'm glad you did, because I hadn't seen it in so long.
Oh,
and
cool.
It was gonna be one that I was gonna revisit for my Frankenheimer project that will go on until I'm dead. But I really enjoyed rewatching it, so I thank you for re-bringing it to my attention again.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Eric. And I really appreciate being able to talk about it with you, and also having a reason to watch it again. And I've wanted to do a movie club on this for ages. But just like To Live and Die in LA or All That Jazz or certain other films, you really need the right person to watch the movie with. Like someone who, even if you don't know that they like it or whatever, that can understand the certain elements to it, not just be put off by it, which this film could easily put people off. Or laugh at it because it looks old. Not that anyone that I've ever had on the show would be like that. Anyhow, that's all to say thank you, Eric, because when I started to learn of your devotion and appreciation of Frankenheimer, that both opened the door for me to not rethink, but go, oh yeah, Frankenheimer, I've got to check some of that guy's stuff out. Then remembering, oh, I've seen Seconds. And then when we landed on doing Seconds as part of our Frankenheimer double feature, I thought, this is great. And of course, watching it again, I loved it. As you'll hear, folks, on the movie club, that's either out now or will come out. Who's to say? And then watching all those interviews, I watched every moment of those interviews, and I was completely enchanted with his take on things. So, and also his take no shit, like no fucking around kind of stuff.
For anyone that doesn't know what composition is, describe that.
Well, anybody that doesn't know what composition is shouldn't be looking at this shot. Shouldn't be looking at this show. So I'm not going to describe it. Let them look it up in the fucking dictionary. Let's go on.
Yeah, he definitely was the type of guy that you didn't want to mess with. But there's something to be said for that. There's very few directors that are around anymore that have that capability to be like, this is my film, this is my personality, this is how I'm going to make it, and I'm not listening to any outside sources. You're going to have to deal with that. This is my point of view. This is what a filmmaker is. And there's very few people like that.
Thank you very much, Eric, for being a part of this.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Treat yourself right and head on over to patreon.com/CraigandFriends. Look at the reward tiers, see which one jumps out at you that you desire the most, and then just go for it. Grab life by the suspenders and pull at patreon.com/CraigandFriends.